Hi everyone, and welcome back to Homestead Rewind. Today I'm picking herbs so that I can get them dried up and stored up for the winter. Also, I'm going to be picking up some of my comfrey, and at the end of the video I'm going to show you what's been crossing our property when we're not home. Come along with me.
She's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift, and hope that you'll take it into her side. La, 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 la.
One of my most favorite people on YouTube is Heidi over at Rain Country. If you guys have not watched her channel, you need to go over there and check her out. She has tons and tons of valuable information on homesteading and self-reliance and just in general food preparation. And I'm learning a lot of things from her to get me ready for my return to the homestead and growing big gardens and raising animals and preserving food. One of the things that Heidi has talked about on her YouTube channel is a book called The Homesteader's Herbal Companion. And this book was actually written by a woman named Amy Fewell, and I hope I'm saying that right. I'm just now getting to know her. She also has a YouTube channel, and she's everything herbs. You can find out a lot of information about herbs from her. So I'm using a recipe out of this book. I actually had to hunt down a recipe. I've done a lot of studying on YouTube and seen the way that other people are using comfrey. Here a while back, I come across a video that was talking about the different uses of comfrey, and something rang a bell in my mind. I remember my grandma talking about comfrey, and as I started studying, I realized that it was also called bone knit. And that is because the comfrey actually has a property in it that the Native Americans used when they had a broken bone. They would make a poultice to heal their bone. And I'm going to try that with my bad knee. Most of you who know me in person know that I have a knee that swells up this big and has been for over a year now. I've had it x-rayed. There are no broken bones. They want to do an MRI on me, but I can't see spending a bunch of money if they're not going to be able to fix it. So I've been trying this remedy, and actually I'm seeing some effect. Now, that being said, anything that I talk about as far as herbal healing, I am not an herbologist. I am just now learning how to use herbs to heal myself. This is strictly a video about my journey. I don't want anybody to use this method until they have done all their research like I have done. So with that disclaimer right there, I want to show you how I'm making these poultices and using it. I've used this poultice 3 times now. I'm seeing enough difference that I want to continue to use it. Will it actually heal what's wrong with my leg? Only time will tell. And I'm going to continue this therapy for another week, and then I will stop the therapy and see if my swelling comes back. If it does, I'll let y'all know that. Okay, now before I get into making the poultice, I want to talk about all those herbs out there that I've had. Another tip that I got from Heidi over at Rain Country was on how to dry my herbs. And I have these paper bags that I have marked with each herb. This is pineapple sage, lemon thyme, spicy basil, just regular thyme, purple basil, stevia, and just regular basil. And this is just a few. I still have other herbs that I'm not accounting for here because they haven't got big enough for me to start harvesting. One thing that I find so amazing and continues to amaze me is that most of all of my herbs are over there on that picnic table that you've seen in my other videos in very filtered sunlight, and they're doing fantastic. I mean, I'm getting quite a harvest of them. So I go out every once in a while and I will pick the leaves off of, especially some of the bigger leaves and closer to the bottom. Sometimes with the thyme, when you cut the thyme, you want to cut the stem all the way to the bottom because thyme just keeps growing and growing and growing. And besides that, this comes back every year. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, I just pick a little here and there, put it in this paper bag, and it dries up nicely. It really does. Once I get enough in this bag, then I'm going to transfer it to jars and vacuum seal it. And that's another tip that I got from Heidi just recently about how to vacuum seal. And I will be doing a video on that shortly just to show you, because guys, you gotta know this. It's pretty cool. I'll set these aside and I'll be right back. Now I want to talk about my seeds. Remember the radish plant over on the side of the camper that I let go to seed? And it got massive and big and it got the little seed pods on it. Well, I finally went out when most of them were getting dry. Most of them were dry. And then I pulled them all off, and you can see right here. Here's a close-up. This is what the seed pods are like. And I just finished drying those out in the paper sack. Paper sacks really work great for that kind of stuff. But I wanted to open one up and show you. There's just like loads of seeds. 4 or 5 seeds inside the seed pod. So I am going to save those. Also, you will remember my cilantros that went to seed. I did get them. I just cut the tops off of them, put them in a paper bag, and there's the seeds. And these are the cilantro that I got from Baker's Creek, the heirloom cilantro seed. And by the way, out there in the garden, even as hot as it's been, that I still have cilantro growing that hasn't bolted from my second planting. Anyway, I'm going to save these seeds. This is the first time I have ever saved seeds from a radish or a cilantro, and very few other things, maybe tomatoes that I've planted the next year. But I'm really anxious to see this next spring if I actually successfully saved my radish seeds and my cilantro seeds, because if I did, that means that I have learned how to be self-sustainable in radishes and cilantro. Yay! Now for the comfrey. And you can see it's starting to wilt up. I'm just going to wad that up, put it in my pedestal. And you can hear it crunching. All those juices, it's almost like an aloe vera plant. It's just got a lot of juice in it. And you just mash that around and get those juices to come out of it. I mash it quite a while, just because it makes it more flexible to put on my knee. And I did that stem, leaf, and all. You can see it's really, really getting juicy now. Now, let's get it on my knee. My knee really isn't in that bad a shape, but you want to remember that I've been using this Poultice for 3 days now, and it literally is taking that swelling out of my knee. Now, I went to Dollar Tree and I bought a roll of gauze, and this is a very thin gauze. I find that I can use it a couple times, and as you can see, it starts to wear out over time. So about 2 times I wear it, and then I change it out. This is some I had on yesterday. Also, I got one of these sleeves from the Dollar Tree for $1. Very handy little thing. Anyway, and Rosie's going to be my helper. Rosie's my nurse. Familiar. Okay, so the first thing I do is wrap my knee. And if you guys try this, you probably should test out on your skin somewhere, a small amount of it at first. don't tend to have skin allergies, so I just went all on the first time. But I would advise you to test that before you go putting it on your skin. All right, Rosie, you're going to have to get back. Go on. Go sit down. Go sit down. Go. Sit. Thank you. Okay. No. Okay. Now I put a little bit of that poultice on there. And I push it down to get the juices going in. Then I put this other gauze around here. I'm not sure if it's in my head or what, but I literally can feel that working. It just seems like I can. I don't know. I'll have to have somebody else try it sometime and tell me if they feel like it's actually just penetrating down in there. Could be all in my head too, you know. Now, this handy dandy sleeve. Put it over the top. These things really hard, nice to have. They don't slip down. They don't squeeze too hard. They don't slip down. Fits me perfectly. I will be going back to Dollar Tree and getting several more of those. I'm really impressed with how well they work for this. Okay, you want to see what's crossing my property when I'm not there? Wait till you see this.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
What do you think? A lot of deer, right? There's deer every single night. That's just a few of the pictures that I have. There's thousands and thousands of triggered from deer. Seems to be mostly the same ones. But did you see the buck in velvet? And what about that fox scampering through there? Several times we've caught pictures of the fox coming through and then the deer coming right after him. I'm not really sure if the deer are following the fox or the fox are following the deer. Check this out. Predators. We're gonna have to form a strategy. One year we had like 80 chickens in the chicken coop. I was selling eggs like crazy that year, and I probably overreached on chickens, but in 1 week we lost all 80 chickens, and all that was left was a trail of feathers that went off down over the hill to the pond. Back then we would have never dreamed of a bobcat being that close to our house because the coop was right beside the house. Ugh. Well, guys, I realized this was one of my longer videos. There's just so much I got to tell you, and I have several videos coming up that I'm working on right now. So if you liked what you seen, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll get notified of when I have a new video coming out. Don't forget to like this video on the way out too. Until next time, love and peace to everyone.